That's a shame because we are all humans and we're supposed to have sheer love instead of hate. And I think that's a hatred comment for her to say because there's a lot of poor people in this area and a lot of people that is just hardworking people. It has nothing to do with Trump.
David Menzies for the Rebel Dot Media here in Palm Beach, Florida, just outside the oh-so-opulent Mar-a-Lago. Now, folks, many people in this state are hunkering down in case Hurricane Dorian does touch land here. But there is one notable person back in our great dominion of Canada who is actually cheering on the hurricane and hoping that the trajectory of Dorian will lead it right here to Mar-a-Lago. And that, of course, is former Prime Minister for a day, Campbell, who actually tweeted, "I'm hoping for a direct hit on Mar-a-Lago." And why would Miss Campbell hope for such a hit? Well, of course, this is the stomping grounds of President Donald Trump. And I'm afraid Miss Campbell hates Donald Trump. And I'm not exaggerating. Previously, she referred to the president as a mother effer. Of course, she used the full word in her tweet. It's despicable. It's despicable because, well, the president's not even here. So if Kim Campbell were to get her wish and this hurricane did touch down here, it would be causing destruction and killing innocents, people that are in no way affiliated with the president. I guess she didn't quite think that through. In any event, I'm going to walk about Palm Beach and try to get reaction to this most odious tweet from a footnote in Canadian history. We had recently an ex-Prime Minister, Kim Campbell, who tweeted that if Hurricane Dorian is to hit land, she wants it to come right here because of Mar-a-Lago. She is obviously anti-Trump. How do you feel about that statement, sir?
Well, I don't agree with it at all because obviously if it were to come right here, it would do more damage than just his property. And, it would cause a lot of property damage for people that have nothing to do with him and his politics. I'm not a fan of his. I don't support his policies or him as president, but I would never wish for such a thing.
I think you've nailed it, sir. We can have philosophical, political differences. Surely in a democracy, we resolve that by debate, not wishing death and destruction on people.
Agreed. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Do you think it's even worse that this is a former leader of Canada? It's not just somebody off the street. And it just seems so uncivil to wish that upon a country that is our greatest ally.
A little bit. I haven't seen the tweet. I would need to read it and see it. If you're telling me that's what it said, yeah, that's problematic from my point of view. I would like to see, express it in a different way, perhaps, or opposition to Trump and his policies.
I think that's pretty rude. I don't want it to hit at all, but it's going to hit, and we don't want anybody to be hurt.
Well, I think you're right. I think that comment coming from anyone on the street would be odious enough, but the fact that this is an ex-prime minister, a leader of a democracy, wishing this upon an allied nation, could this be one of the most outrageous examples of Trump derangement syndrome you've heard of?
Probably not. There's a lot of people that are against Trump, but it's still no reason to wish ill on anyone.
Indeed, and I'm wondering, given the fact that Trump isn't even residing there right now, I wonder if Kim Campbell has thought this through. If the hurricane did hit there, it's going to be innocent people getting hurt or perhaps killed. How does that further the political debate?
It doesn't help at all.
What do you think, sir? In this day and age of Trump, is the level of civility sort of gone down that, there's all kinds of things being said by people, including our ex-prime minister, that you never would have dreamed of hearing or reading about years ago?
Right. All this tweeting, bad things from Trump and from other people, I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it makes any sense. It's be kind to each other.
Well, I think you're right. I think we have differing opinions, differing political views, but why bring violence into the equation?
Oh, exactly. There's no reason for it. Nobody. We don't want anybody to be hurt. Especially for a storm that's this severe. It could people could get hurt and a lot of property damage.
We just had one of our ex-prime ministers, Kim Campbell. She tweeted out that if Hurricane Dorian has to hit land, she wants it to be here so that it takes out Mar-a-Lago, Trump's residence. And there's been incredible blowback about that. I wanted to find out how the locals feel about such a statement.
Does he even own that compound anymore? I thought he just had like a little condo there.
I don't know.
He doesn't own it, right?
We have to admit we're not locals. We're in here from New York City.
Okay, then.
So I feel like that's not a very nice statement, but we're not local. It does seem like it's going to take out the locals, not Trump. So.
Well, you are Americans, and sir, you said something interesting. The fact that I think he does still own property there, but he's not residing there right now. So I don't know if Kim Campbell has thought this through. If that hurricane were to hit there, it's going to hurt or perhaps even kill innocent people. How does that help the process of democratic debate?
Well, I mean, it's probably not good to have the hurricane kill any people, honestly. So if we can avoid that, I think that's good,
Sounds like she was
Well, if it breaks a couple windows, it's not the worst thing.
I don't have no problem with Trump. He says some things sometimes that's controversial, but yeah, he's doing good things for the country too.
And I think, that's part of the outrage, that even if you were not a Trump supporter, the idea of wishing death and destruction, that seems beyond the...
That's a shame because we are all humans and we're supposed to have sheer love instead of hate. And I think that's a hatred comment for her to say, because there's a lot of poor people in this area and a lot of people that is just hardworking people. It has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with believing in truth and love and sharing that across the border.
I think you've said something really profound, ma'am, and the fact that Trump isn't even at that residence right now, so if her wish were to come true, it would be innocent people.
You know what? If it come here, I hope that it doesn't bother anybody or hurt anybody. Nobody have a big devastating moment. And you know what? We got to pray for people like her, because in our day and age, everybody cry out to God when there's a real tragedy. So for her words to come out of her mouth, that is a tragedy. She should think before she speaks.
And to think she was once, the Prime Minister of Canada, I think that makes it even worse. Do you think this might be one of the worst examples of so-called Trump derangement syndrome you've come across?
Yeah, I think so. I think we, people that don't like someone, they should also think around them what Trump is doing, good and bad. We are only human. We make mistakes. So why would she say that?
And sir, that's the other point too, is that we can have political and philosophical differences, but surely we resolve that by debate, not wishing death and destruction on people.
No, even I'm from South Florida, and we see many hurricanes, and people tend to, in their regular life, tend to want to be in their homes and be by themselves. But after a hurricane, you see people coming out and helping each other and caring for each other, and that's what is in the human nature. We care for each other and we love each other, and we don't wish no harm on nobody.
I mean, I think I don't like Trump as much as the next guy, but I think it's pretty distasteful. I think. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people here other than Trump. Trump's not even here, to be honest.
Well, you raise a good point, because even if she got her wish, he's not at the resort, so it would be innocent people getting hurt and perhaps dying. I mean, I don't think she's thought this through, sir.
I feel like maybe to separate the politics from, people's lives would actually benefit her in this situation. Indeed. Yeah.
Well, alas and alack, it doesn't seem as though Kim Campbell's perverse fantasy of Hurricane Dorian touching down upon Mar-a-Lago is going to come true. Recent weather patterns suggest the hurricane is going to miss the Palm Beach area. And it should be noted that she did delete the odious tweet. She has apologized, but not before putting up a vigorous fight. She told her critics initially to get a grip, and she further justified this terrible tweet by saying that this would, quote, shake up Trump's climate change denial, end quote. Yeah, she actually said that. A disaster upon this resort would change his opinion on climate change. Meanwhile, back home, will there be any repercussions for this vulgar and profane Prime Minister who wishes death and destruction upon her political adversaries? Well, apparently not. It looks as though the Trudeau Liberals are just fine with Kim Campbell remaining on the committee that selects Supreme Court justices. And really, folks, does that come as any surprise? I mean, these are the same Trudeau Liberals that cut a $10.5 million check to a terrorist who, several years ago, fulfilled his dark fantasy of actually getting to kill an American. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, if you like that video, please click like and subscribe and never miss another Rebel video.